What's poppin', guys? Guard Champion here, and today we have a few Demon Slayer items to unbox. A Funko, Ope Socket figures, and a G Fuel collector's box. With that said, if you guys enjoy any of the products that are being reviewed, or just like the video in general, feel free to like and subscribe. Next month, I do have some really cool stuff coming in the mail, so don't want to miss those unboxings. We'll start with the Ope Socket figures. I bought these on Mercari. Individually, these are around $20 or more. I found these two bundled for $35, so I considered it a win. I also thought that these would look better as a pair instead of a standalone figure. For some reason, I thought these would not look as girly in person, but I had horrible judgment on that front. In person, these are almost like dolls. It doesn't take away from the product, I just should have paid more attention. The boxes themselves are really cool, and I even use them in my newly arranged display. A Funko collection and a stream setup video is in the works here, so you guys get to see all the pops in the background as well as my kind of stream setup. There is a regular variant of the Shinobu figure, and then there is a Sepia variant. This isn't uncommon in the collectible figures world because there's a lot of Sepia or grayscale figures since it refers to the manga style. At least that's my interpretation. I will say real quick that the Sepia version doesn't look like a grandma as bad in person. It was probably just my light. I do like both of them, but I lean more towards the regular version because I like her color palette as a part of her character design. So the best part of these figures is their glossy eyes, partially why I thought they looked a little bit more girly, but it's their best attribute. The details put in the eye itself is really nice as well. The difference in finishes can really make or break a figure in my opinion. Some of the returning viewers probably know after seeing some of my Funko reviews. The glossy eyes on the matte finished product is effective because it draws your eye toward that particular spot on the figure, and they nailed it with the fine detail that they put into the eyes. This is why it works so well for me. Shinobu has a lot of fun aspects to her character design, the strongest being her Hawori, but her eyes are one of my favorite aspects to her as well. Her eyes have a feeling of emptiness with how the purple fades to white and there is no pupil. I bring up the lack of pupil because other characters are shown having it. The feeling of emptiness is a symbol of her sadness in my opinion. She lost her parents, her older sister, all Tsukugo except Kanao, and deals with a lot of pain from being a person of healing, being around the sick, injured, etc. It's a bit complex for something so simple, but that's just another reason why her character is so interesting, and most just gloss over her compared to the Flame Pillar or the Flashy guy. The difference with this figure and her normal character design is that they added pupils. They added white spots to represent reflections of light that gave this figure and her character some life to it, almost as if she's happy for a change, not suffering. Next up is the Funko Shop exclusive Shinobu Kocho figure. Some of you may think this is stupid, but this is my second one. I have a solid reason for it though. This lovely light box I have here can hold up to 3 Funkos. And guess how many Funko Shinobu will have after April? 3. And yes, I bought 2 of the Sumi Ink Shinobus as well for this reason. Then if I were to take my only one out of box, then I wouldn't have one displayed in the background. Plus, my original one I want to keep sealed in the event I ever get to meet Erica Harlocker, and once that gets signed, it's never leaving the box. This Funko has a lot of personal meaning to me and was the founding reason for the Shinobu treatment segment in my Funko reviews, so I could justify having 2. Last up in the unboxing, the G Fuel collector's box. Weirdly enough, this was available for pre-order before the Dandadan one, and this came out after. We'll start with the actual G Fuel itself. It's called Raging Sun, which is kumquat flavored. The caffeine content is not labeled on the box and was honestly a pain in the ass to find on the website. I had to look much harder to find it than I should have. And it contains 140 milligrams. Let's talk about taste. Do any of you remember the drink Tang from the late 90s or early 2000s? Well, it tastes just like that to me. It's a fun flavor, but I was not expecting this to taste like orange juice. I expected something a little bit more unique and exotic. As for the caffeine, I feel like it doesn't have any. I drink this stuff and I'm not fazed by it. It requires me to grab another energy drink and ride off that caffeine buzz. When I drink G Fuel, I get laser focused, and I always have with this product. And trust me when I say that I've drinking a lot of G Fuel, because if you look at this stand behind me, the whole second row, those are all sitting on G Fuel tubs. I literally made the spacing of my shelf based off of a Funko sitting on G Fuel tubs because I had that many. Just, they've taken so much of my money. Let's end the bit here. And we can't sit here and just blame the new formula because the Dandadan one is just fine. So a 4 out of 10 for me on the G Fuel itself. Next is the cup. It was a surprise to me to see Mitsuri on the cup because I swore when I pre-ordered this, it only had 3 characters on it. It has the 4 characters and then the represented backgrounds. But I have one problem with this. The top piece does not move around like the Dandadan cups does. And you're probably wondering why this matters. As someone who's highly irritated when things don't line up perfectly, this is a major issue for me. When you go to put on this lid and it's not done in the exact way, the patterns do not match from the lid to the bottom of the cup. I took the lid off and it took me 5 minutes to get this thing perfectly lined up again. And here lies issue number 2. In order to do so, you have to crank on this lid for it to line up. And over time, it's going to damage the threads on the lid, which is plastic, even though the bottom is metal. Most people won't have a problem with this, but if I'm spending $65 on this product, excluding shipping, it's this kind of thing that should not be an issue. The Dandadan one moves around, and that one doesn't need to line up with the decor on the bottom, so I don't know why the lids are the same style, but don't interact the same. Plus, I don't have to crank on the Dandadan one to close it. And then we get to the box, and this is where I'm about to pop off. So grab your popcorn, get strapped down in your seat, and enjoy me bitching and whining. In a nutshell, this thing is not unique or original in any way, shape, or form, except for the part with Mitsuri's rice thingies. That was the only custom part of this entire box and opening in general. I'm dead serious. All of these are sprites taken directly from the Kimetsu no Yaiba wiki fandom page, and how would I know that? Because I'm a trash YouTuber and I use those images myself. I can literally replicate everything on this box to some extent. I'll put image on the screen here and do a quick side-by-side while I continue to rant for a minute or two. Let me address the whole $65 for a product thing again. If I'm paying that much for a product, I expect at least half of the designs to be custom. I say this because if I wanted something so generic, I'd do it myself. On the side of the box, we have a few screenshots from the show. It's not a bad thing per se, because it's hyping up the character moments in those shots. But at the end of the day, they're just screenshots taken from the end. The big image is literally a cover of the season with the G Fuel and Raging Sun slapped on it. Not the worst thing in the world because I currently am using that as part of my display. Right there. For the normal everyday person, none of this would be an issue. But as an artist myself, there's no originality to it, and that is my biggest issue. I honestly feel just so betrayed because this is a brand that I've trusted and used for so long. And now my show, Demon Slayer, finally got a collab with it, and it just completely flopped in my opinion. The Dandadan box set was literally perfect. Zero complaints about it. And now that I think about it, Dandadan products between Funko and G Fuel have been massively great in quality, and the Demon Slayer not being held to that same quality standard. On the Funko side of things, the Dandadan pops were absolutely perfect, down to the nitty-gritty details. You can find my review of the Dandadan Funkos in the end card or the description if you want to see that video. And here I am complaining that the drink tastes like Tang, the art is unoriginal, and Akaza is just a skinny boy with no muscle. Sorry to be so negative for this portion of the review. Normally, my reviews are actually pretty positive. But when something flops this hard, I gotta be real with you guys, you know? So let me know what you guys thought of these 3 products in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out the 2 videos in the end card. So have a wonderful day. Peace out.